Hi, I'm Dr. Johnna B, occupational therapist, educator, and researcher, and this is OT Translated, translating occupational therapy for everyday education. Today, we're diving into a big question related to teen mental health. How do we support identity development in teens, especially those who are navigating trauma, marginalization, or mental health recovery? And what is occupational therapy's role in all of that? Spoiler, it's not just about life skills. It's about co-creating safe spaces for teens to explore who they are, who they've been told that they are, and who they want to become. In adolescence and teen years, identity development isn't optional. It's central to occupational performance because who you believe you are shapes how you show up, what you try, and what you believe you're capable of. For teens who have experienced trauma or who have been marginalized or who have autonomy limited in some capacity, this process of building identity is often disrupted. They may feel disconnected from their values, unsure of their own preferences, or trapped in roles that were chosen for them instead of by them. In occupational therapy, we don't just support participation, we support meaningful participation, and identity is where meaning lives. Let's talk about some occupation-based strategies that you can use with teen clients to help foster identity development. The first strategy that we're going to talk about is identity mapping through occupation. I'll often say to my teenage clients, let's look at your week. What are you doing? And what does that say about who you are and who you want to be? We can co-create a visual timeline or an occupational collage, putting together drawings, pictures, or words that help us to answer these questions. What roles do you play? What makes you feel most like yourself? What activities feel like a performance and which feel like truth to you? Then we can ask some questions to help promote that growth mindset. What identities are you growing into? And which ones are you ready to let go of? As occupational therapy practitioners, we know that occupation isn't just activity. It's identity in action. And activities like identity mapping through a lens of occupation can really help teens to reflect, redefine, and reimagine who they are and who they're capable of becoming. Next up is a strategy that I call values clarification, and I pair this typically with everyday decision making. So teens often hear what they should care about: grades, productivity, future career success, but what do they actually care about? And how does that inform their choices? There are several different ways that we can help our teen clients uncover these insights. We can start by using tools like a values inventory or values card sort to see what initially clicks with our clients. And then we can have them choose kind of their top 3 guiding values. Maybe it's creativity, connection, and justice. Finally, we will then link those values to occupation. If creativity is important to you, what decisions are you making this week to support that? Or how does your value of connection determine how you choose to spend your time? By supporting this self-inventory and connection of values to actions, we can help teens to act in alignment with who they want to be and become, shifting them away from just reacting to their environment and instead promoting values-driven occupational engagement. This rings true for all of us, but especially for teens. When we can align our actions with our desired identity, our mental health improves. This next strategy is where I think it gets really powerful: self-authorship. Trauma and systemic oppression often narrate over teens' own voices. In occupational therapy, we can invite and empower teens to become the authors of their own stories again. Try prompts like these to help your teens start to think about their own storyline. What's a story that someone told you about yourself that you no longer believe? If you could rewrite a chapter of your life, how would you describe your growth? What's the next scene in your story, and what do you need to move there? This doesn't have to be a formal narrative therapy session where teens physically write anything down. It can happen through spoken word while co-engaging in a leisure activity. It can be creatively displayed through the creation of music playlists that maybe represent different feelings or focuses for teens. It could look like collage creations or even expressive movement like dance. As occupational therapy practitioners, we know that storytelling is a meaningful occupation, and self-authorship builds agency, which is central to mental health, motivation, and recovery. When teens reflect on who they are, what matters to them, and how to author their own story, everything changes. That's not just self-esteem, that's occupational empowerment. As OT practitioners, we're not fixing behaviors, we're fostering belonging and creating environments where identity exploration is safe, supported, and scaffolded. This work matters because identity shapes engagement, and engagement is everything. If you use identity-focused work in your own OT practice, I'd love to hear what's working. Drop a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this knowledge with an OT colleague or an educator who supports teen mental health. See you next time on OT Translated.